In the pre-dawn darkness of February 2, 1986, a lone motorcyclist in Fremont, California, made a grim discovery of the bodies of two young women lay on the shoulder of Mill Creek Road. The victims were best friends Xavier and Jennifer Duey, and what began as an ordinary night out had become a chilling true crime disappearance. For the next 32 years, their murders would remain an unsolved mystery. Please help this channel grow. Like the video, try the new hype feature, leave a comment and subscribe for more stories. This helps us a lot. Thank you. A haunting cold case mystery that baffled investigators and terrified the community. For viewers drawn to missing hikers in the Ozarks, this urban case shows how violence can strike far from any trail. Michelle and Jennifer were inseparable friends from Fremont. Classmates and next-door neighbors, they had grown up together and shared dreams of college and travel. On February 1, 1986, the two teenagers went out for a family birthday celebration. They laughed over pizza and soda, planning to spend the evening relaxing at home. After dinner they stopped at a local convenience store for snacks, the last time anyone saw them alive. Witnesses recall seeing Xavier and Duey around 10:15 p.m. at a 7-Eleven in Fremont. They chatted and smiled as they left the store to head home. Friends and family assumed the night would end with movie night and sleep. Instead, fate would take a darker turn. Within hours, tragedy struck. Shortly after midnight, the motorcyclist found Michelle's and Jennifer's bodies lying naked on the roadside. Both teenagers had been shot and stabbed, brutal and random violence in a quiet neighborhood. Investigators determined the murders occurred roughly an hour before discovery. The scene was graphic and perplexing. The girls' car, a Pontiac Sunbird, was found abandoned several miles away at a shopping center parking lot, but their purses and IDs were nowhere to be found. No immediate clue revealed the killer's identity. The murders made statewide headlines, and the normally peaceful Fremont community was shaken. Newspapers ran mugshots of the smiling girls and begged for tips. Police flooded the streets with missing person posters and even offered a $35,000 reward for information. Neighbors who once felt safe in their own yards now wondered if a monster lurked in the shadows. Detectives canvassed the area, interviewed dozens of residents, and followed every lead from suspicious hitchhikers to local prowlers, but no one was immediately arrested. From the start, investigators treated the case with urgency. Fremont detectives identified several people of interest and conducted hundreds of interviews. They scoured phone records and examined the crime scene for any trace of evidence. Officers noted that the deaths of the two women were highly publicized, and the entire city was on edge. Despite tireless work, the case yielded frustratingly little. The partial license plate handwritten on a victim's hand, the abandoned car, and the missing belongings all produced no suspects. Over months of questioning and tip-taking, most leads proved dead ends. In mid-1986 the investigation slowed. The case eventually went cold and was suspended, police later admitted. 4 years, the brutal slayings of Michelle and Jennifer lingered in police files as an unsolved mystery. New leads would trickle in, an anonymous phone tip here, a suspicious neighbor there, but none panned out. By the mid-1990s the double homicide had faded from the headlines, and the case grew colder with each passing anniversary. The community was left only with fear and unanswered questions. Families lit candles on street corners hoping for tips, but as technology of the 1980s could not definitively identify the killer, the trail went dark. Decades later the case received new life. In 2016, the Fremont Police Department created a cold case homicide unit and assigned veteran detective Jacob Blass to review unsolved murders. Blass, a homicide detective turned cold case specialist, combed through the original case file with fresh eyes. He re-interviewed witnesses and re-examined physical evidence in the case, especially anything that could yield DNA. Advances in forensic science, like the ability to test minute biological samples that old technology missed, gave him hope. On a hunch, detectives reprocessed evidence from the 1986 investigation, including fingernail scrapings from Jennifer Duey. The gamble paid off. New DNA testing revealed that skin cells found under Jennifer's fingernails contained a match to a single man, 57-year-old David Emery Misch. This was the crucial forensic evidence that finally broke the case. Investigators had also long noted a partial license plate number scrawled in one victim's hand. Tracing that clue led them to a vehicle tied to Misch. In short, modern forensic evidence and old-fashioned police work converged to point at one suspect. As Fremont police announced, after 32 years of mystery, they solved the case thanks to DNA evidence linking a suspect to the crime. David Emery Misch was, by 2018, already a familiar name to law enforcement. A lifelong criminal from Southern California, Misch had been convicted of multiple violent crimes. Most notably, he was serving an 18 years to life sentence for a 1989 murder in Alameda County. Investigators discovered that Misch had lived in the Fremont area at the time of the 1986 killings and had a history as a burglar and drug user. Importantly, police stressed that Jennifer and Michelle had never known him. Their murders appeared random, not personal. Nevertheless, with the DNA match in hand, detectives were convinced they had their man. In March 2018, detectives brought Misch back to Fremont from his prison cell. The Alameda County District Attorney's Office charged him with 2 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of Michelle Xavier and Jennifer Duey. On the same day, the Xavier and Duey families issued a statement. For the first time in 32 years, they had hope for justice. The charge was shocking news in the Bay Area. A man in his late 50s, already incarcerated for another killing, was now accused of an even older double homicide. The case against Misch went to trial in late 2024. Prosecutors centered their case on the scientific evidence. They showed jurors that the DNA under Jennifer Duey's fingernails preserved and reanalyzed in 2016 was a match to Misch. They also emphasized the partial license plate number found on a victim's hand, which matched Misch's car. In court, Misch insisted he was innocent. He told investigators that the DNA under the victim's nails must have been from an earlier encounter when he saw the women being kidnapped, an explanation jurors found implausible. The defense presented no alternative suspect, and even with the passage of time there was no new evidence to contradict the prosecution's case. On December 19, 2024, nearly 39 years after the crime, the jury spoke and David Misch was found guilty on 2 counts of first-degree murder. Chief Assistant District Attorney Royal Roberts hailed the verdict as a testament to the DA's commitment to seeking justice for victims, even if it takes decades. For the first time, the families of Michelle and Jennifer could hear those words. The cold case mystery that began on an empty road in 1986 had finally come to a courtroom conclusion. In January 2025, Judge Paul DeLucci sentenced Misch to the maximum, 2 consecutive 25 years, to life terms in prison. In total, he will serve at least 50 years behind bars. The sentencing hearing was dramatic. As victims' family members read impact statements, Misch shockingly began singing 99 bottles of beer on the wall, and was removed from court for his bizarre display. Prosecutors noted that Misch showed no remorse for the murders of Jennifer and Michelle. The judge nonetheless imposed the stiff sentence, essentially ensuring Misch will spend the rest of his life in prison. With Misch sentenced, the Xavier and Duey families finally felt the weight lift. In a statement, they expressed gratitude that detectives worked countless hours during the past 32 years on our daughter's case and offered thanks for the closure they had waited so long to receive. Fremont police also pointed out the case's legacy. It helped bring a high-profile child kidnapping to light. Misch is also charged in the 1988 abduction of 9-year-old Michaela Garrett and showed the power of cold case units and forensic science. The murders of Michelle Xavier and Jennifer Duey remain a solemn reminder that even in modern times, evil deeds can lie hidden in the shadows for decades. It also shows that cold case mystery is not just a cliché, but some crimes truly take generations to solve. Thanks to tireless investigation and advances in forensic evidence technology, justice finally arrived in Fremont. This true crime disappearance is no longer unsolved, but it joins the annals of cases closed by DNA and determination. Yet the story of Michelle and Jennifer endures as a tragic chapter in California's crime history, a cautionary tale for those who might wander into the shadows.